for a minute, please? Make sure, because I don't know what they want to write the names here. Make sure that they are on the proper sheet, please. Because now I can't. Magistrate, I'm ready whenever you are. Mr. Mr. Purdy, I'm ready whenever you are. Yeah. Oh, we just have two inspectors come in. Let's let them get settled, please. Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. 3 minutes, we'll be starting. Thank you. Yeah, those are centipedes. Okay. Mauricio. Yes, we're ready. We're ready. she doesn't come special. No. Mm-mm. They come to cold board, but not.
Always trust IT to put sticky stickers of username and passwords. On here, it's only on camera too.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our June 17, 2021 special magistrate hearing for the building division. At this time, please silence all of your phones and devices. This meeting is being recorded. If there's anyone who wishes to speak at today's proceedings, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings? Thank you. You all may be seated. Our first case is a hearing to impose fines on page 17. Inspector Alexander Albores, property address 3700 Galt Ocean Drive, owner Royal Ambassador Condo Association, Inc., case number CE 19080429. This case was first heard on 2/11/20. To comply by 8/9/20. One section not complied at $100. City is requesting a full amount of $28,600, which continues to accrue. Is there a respondent here? Yes. Oh, you could go right here to the podium.
Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Oh, one moment. The inspector will go first.
That's what I.
Okay.
But you can
Yeah.
you can remain up there.
Good morning, everyone. Inspector Alvarez on behalf of Chief Oliva. Case number and address is read. At this time, the city does not support any extension. I'll let the respondent speak.
Okay. I'm going to have the engineers come up with me because we have them here today. I'm just going to go over a brief overview of what's taken place since the last time we were here. On 8/6/2019, we received a 40-year recertification letter, which when we were here last time, we had said we hadn't received until September 25th, 2019. Within the 90 days, on December 23rd, 2019, my client submitted the 40-year recertification report, which was just short of the 90-day period by 2 days. Unfortunately, March 2020, all work was postponed until further notice due to COVID. On August 2020, they resumed the work. They had requests for proposals. In December 2020, they had to revise the scope of work as there had been additional deterioration to the building during the year that obviously work wasn't being performed. And May 2021, they revised the scope of work to include the building, and they submitted everything for rebidding. Unfortunately, there is quite a labor shortage, material shortage, which has unfortunately delayed the project. But my understanding is that you're ready. You're about ready to go. Would you like
Okay.
Good
All
morning.
right. And by the way, state your name for the record.
Renato Silva.
And did we get your name
and
for the record?
Lindsay Raphael, I'm the attorney for the association.
Okay. All right.
Representing SRI. We're the building engineer. Yeah, so pretty much in summary, we've been actively working on this. It just got postponed because of COVID. On March 20th, we were going to start the project. The building realized when we went for rebidding in August that they wanted to do additional work. There's also collateral issues as pavers to do the repairs, so they went ahead and asked us to revise the scope of work to include waterproofing to a very large size deck. This includes, replacing the pavers. So we went through that whole process, and again, we went to rebidding on March, and now we're including the building painting. So this whole process is been ongoing. Uh, and right now we're on the rebidding phase, sending out to contractors. So that's pretty much the rundown of where we're at.
Your Honor,
Good morning.
Chief Oliva, on behalf of the city, I just want to come bring to your attention that the emergency declaration order 20-213 doesn't have nothing to do with the 40-year safety program. And we have a letter from Broward County for the attorney from Bora staying the same. There's no extension because of the COVID due to the 40-year safety program, due to the fact that's a life safety issue. Now, then again, they're asking for time, they're asking for many things, and the engineer of record should be aware that Rule 55 requests that for the engineer of records to give us a letter asking for the extension of time up to 180 days and must be signed and sealed by him, and he must stay. Why is the holdback? So to be approved by the bidding official in the city of Fort Lauderdale. That's the only way we can provide an extension for them. So at this moment, once again, the city is going to request imposition of fine. Nothing that they brought in front of you has to do with the 40 years certification or safety inspection program. And I had the letter here from Broward County, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, okay. So this is,
Just for the record, I have no idea what letter is you're
Okay.
reviewing because I, as the attorney of record, have not received any letter. Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah,
stating
she
that
may
there's
see
no
it.
extension. You're welcome to see it. There's no extension because we had asked the county if there was any relief from the 40-year recertification enforcement due to COVID, and the response was no.
I mean, my client has actively been working on this project since we were here before you. It's not like they haven't done anything. It's not like they didn't get the report submitted on time.
I think part of the issue, Your Honor, in the delay is based on what the engineer said, is that the building has opted to add additional scope, which of course they're entitled to do, but as Chief Oliva said, it has nothing to do with the safety part. So putting in pavers, painting the building.
Can I just talk about that?
I'm not-
Your Honor,
one at a time.
yeah.
Mr. Oliva.
Your Honor, whatever the city attorney is saying is true, and the engineer supposed to give us a letter signed by him telling us what is going on in the building, so that way we can grant them another extension of 180 days. They haven't done so. So the city doesn't have any record of whatever they're doing over there because it has to be certified by the engineer of records. If he doesn't provide me the letter, I don't know anything about it. Because whatever they're saying here now, it doesn't have any weight because the safety program requires a letter to the building official telling us what they're doing. Right here in front of you right now, I cannot support any extension at this moment. We need to impose a fine. They can come back later on when they're in compliance, and we can go down to a lien reduction or whatever it needs to be done.
Let me ask, okay, go ahead.
I was to say, we're more than happy, to get whatever letter, by the end of the day, by tomorrow. But although my engineer has some questions about the letter that you're asking. Yes, sir.
Shirish Raj Pathak, I'm the owner, president of SRI Consultants, who's the engineer of record for the condominium. We understand what the attorney, the city attorney is saying, because we had several active jobs going where the contractor was working, and those jobs continued during the pandemic. We also worked as an engineer. no new job because the contractors would not. And we were at the stage of getting the contractors at that time because it takes several months to get through the legalities and everything to get. We are at that level to get it. And at that point, we did not have a fresh job started. And that was it. But when we submitted, there was no mention was made that we are supposed to send them a letter if something doesn't get done. It was not in that letter. However, we've been working, and because during the pandemic we have been in the building, and as we saw some additional stuff because something doesn't get done, we've been adding that to our report, and we have been preparing, modifying our scope of work. So it's not like we have stopped working; we have been working on it, and now here we are.
And here we are, and how
To get it
close
to-
are you, how close are you to conclusion?
We have sent it out the proposals now to bidding to the contractors. We are having issues where contractors are not even bidding on the project because shortage of labor. But we are actually working on to getting bids, and as we speak, we will be reviewing this in probably week or two. Some of the bids, interview contractors, so we can start with the legal proceeding because it takes about a month and a half to just get the legal documents signed, and then you can start the work.
Your Honor, the city cannot be held responsible because the engineer never provided us the letter asking for the 180-day extension. That's his responsibility, not the city, to remind them. And as we are right here in front of you, he haven't given us any document telling us that he needs another 180 days for completion. So at this moment, once again, the city would request the imposition of the fines. And when they're in compliance, we can come back in front of you for a lien reduction.
Your Honor, I'd like to request that we have that letter to you by the close of business tomorrow.
It doesn't go to the special magistrate, it goes to the building.
Well, I mean, to where it has to, but that we do, but I'm addressing him because he's the presiding officer. So, that, you know, that we have until the close of business tomorrow to comply with the letter requirement that he is
Okay. So,
mentioning. And then I do think that you had something to say about additional safety issues. And I know that you didn't get to finish saying what you were trying to say.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
And I think what you were saying is you were trying to say that some of the additional work wasn't necessarily part of a safety issue, but I think that,
That's not part of a safety issue.
which is waterproofing, but,
It's not part of 40-year,
What, painting?
correct.
No, agreed. But what I was mentioning is, for instance, they're doing work on a lower level garage where there's a deck above. So when we do the repair, you have to remove the pavers. You remove the pavers, you have to waterproof the deck. So it's one thing leads to another. So that's what we've been working on, investigation, making sure we have all our I's and T's crossed.
I mean, ultimately, once they choose the contractor, we do have to have a full scope of work for the entire project, obviously. Then that's going to come to me to review, and then I will make sure that there is a time period in there with a start date and a hard end date.
Your Honor, once again, whatever the engineers say, I do understand, but it's not part of the report originally that was given to the city. They haven't given us a letter telling us all that he's saying
okay,
right
and
now.
I don't,
And they're not following the rules 55D from water.
all right, well, I'm not familiar with the provisions of the ordinance right off the top of my head about this letter. And
No, wait. No, I mean,
So, Your Honor, this is a Broward County program that we're obligated to follow by law. 40-year recertification to say that the building is safe for continued occupancy from a structural and electrical standpoint. And as Chief Oliva has stood up for years, the process is very strict in terms of the timeframes as dictated by Broward County, not by the city, but by the county, in terms of when the letter needs to be submitted, what kind of extensions we are allowed and have the leeway to give. And so in this case, as council said, they submitted a letter. The letter identified deficiencies in the building, so the engineer could not certify the building, the violations from 2019. So he could not certify the building, but identified repairs that needed to be made.
Okay.
So now we're still in the stage in 2021 that repairs still need to be made, and they're just going out to bid for the work. They haven't gotten the work done, the permits to do the work. And what Chief Oliva is saying is that the engineer, pursuant to the Broward County process, had to have submitted a signed and sealed letter to the building department asking for 180 days since the original letter
There's still
was,
the opportunity for a 180-day extension pending,
the letter is submitted.
pending the letter.
Yes, sir.
We-
All right.
We would like the opportunity to submit that letter.
Okay. All right, well, this is June. I don't appear again until August.
And failing that letter, Broward County does not give the city the flexibility to grant any or agree to any extensions.
Okay. All right, so then does the county grant the extension or the city grant the extension?
The city does.
The city follow the program as stated by Broward County that the engineer of records can request one extension 180 days with a letter stating the repairs in progress and why he needs a
Okay,
extra time.
The letter goes to the county, not to the city.
The letter comes to me.
The letter goes to you.
I give it to the bidding official for approval. Once the bidding official approves it, we send the records to the county.
All right. Yes, sir.
I just want to make it clear that it went out to bid. There was bid for it. The job was going to start. It just got delayed because everything shut down. This was in March 2020.
And 180 days would have come down to March, so it would be September, and the contractors were still not taking new jobs. Like I said, we were continuing to work in Fort Lauderdale and in other cities where the ongoing projects were continued, but no contractor was taking new projects. So whether we extension allowing or not, we just had a difficulty getting contractors to come in. Even now, contractors are shortage of labor and they are not willingly coming, or say we cannot start this job for so many months. I mean, we are having this issue, not only this job, but all our projects.
Your Honor, ESA March 2020. We are in June 2021. He had almost a year and a month to provide me a letter asking for a 180-day extension. They did not. They dropped the ball, and the city cannot assume responsibility because the engineer of record didn't ask for that. Something happened in that building, the city's gonna be responsible, and also we're gonna have to answer to Broward County because they're very strict rule, like the city attorney mentioned, and the city is mandated by Broward County to follow the rules of the program. We cannot just go around the law or bending the rules from Broward County. So at this moment, once again, I'm gonna request an imposition of fine, and we can come back later on, and I will support a lien reduction.
Okay.
Your Honor, I think on my client's part, a little bit of frustration is that from day one having to do with these issues, there has been notice and information issues. And I'm not trying to, blame code enforcement, but if this is something that is so serious with these deadlines, why has the association not received any letter saying that they had to give this 180 days? Even in the letter that they recently got, it didn't mention anything about this 180-day letter. Even what was just handed out today, it doesn't mention anything about a 180-day letter. And I understand it's not your responsibility.
I do understand your point,
Can you just let me finish just really quick? I understand it's not your responsibility to make sure that the association does their job properly. But if the reason why we really are here today is a safety issue, then I would think it behooves all of us to make sure that this building gets done as soon as possible, that everyone has the information that they need. If my association is not a lawyer, and unfortunately, during these months, I have not been involved in the legal aspect of this because the construction part was taking over. And I'm happy to step in and get more involved and take a look at the ordinance and make sure that we're in compliance. But I think it would be helpful that if before one of these deadline hits and you're aware of one of these deadlines coming up, that someone let us know that this is something that needs to be done.
Person that is responsible for the job behind you.
All right, okay.
We sent one notice on 2019
Right.
telling the association you got 90 days
Which
to
still wasn't
comply.
even received on time because the
Well,
last time we were here, we told you we hadn't
is-
received the notice.
It's the responsibility of the association to keep the record.
I
not
know,
the
what I'm
city.
saying is if
The
this is a
second
health and
part-
safety issue,
Once he makes the inspection report and he sees that the repairs needed, he should have provide immediately by
the inspection,
by
the
BORA.
report was timely delivered.
Right, but after the first 180 days was given to the association, because I did give them 180 days for the repairs, and they let it go by, and he never came back to the city asking for another extension
I don't
of time.
think that they knew, and during
And,
COVID,
well, it's not my responsibility or the city responsibility. It's
I
the
understand that.
engineer of records, and it stated very clear in the Florida that the engineer of record
not the
has to
engineer.
provide
Okay.
the letter and the extensions.
Then I'm not sure why they're talking if they're not the engineer of record.
But-
No,
but-
we're the 40 years. We're doing the engineer, but we haven't pulled permit. We haven't done.
I understand that, but you're the engineering firm that's provided
Mhm.
the letter.
Right.
but I
you're
guess
the
technically there's not a record until you pull the permit.
Engineer of record by law.
Well, I think he was saying until you pull the permit, it's not of record. I think he was just being technical.
That's not,
Okay,
that's not-
all right, okay, hang on. Okay,
I will let you make the decision.
Can,
sorry, say
can
that-
I ask a question?
I say the city's gonna rest, and I will let you make the decision which way you think is appropriate.
So at this point,
he said he would rest, and we just asked that your honor rule on the case.
all right.
can I just ask something? Because I just want to make sure that going forward that this issue doesn't happen again. My takeaway from this is every 180 days, we need to be submitting a letter if the project is not complete to be asking for an extension. Okay. I just, we understand that. Unfortunately, I was not involved in that part. My client was not aware of that. I will make sure personally that when I leave here today that I calendar that myself very carefully. They will diligently proceed. I mean, they want to have this done just as much as you want to have it done. They don't want to have anyone get hurt in the building. Unfortunately, we've all been living through a very strange year, and there are labor shortages and there are material.
And you're gonna get the 180-day request immediately done.
Yes.
Okay, here's, because you've been out of compliance for a long time, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grant, I want this case to come back on August 19th, okay? Because I want to hear a status and where we are, whether the letter's been received and whether the 180-day extension has been granted. But I think Mr. Oliva's comments are well taken, that these are mitigating factors that should be determined later on, okay? So this can be revisited once you come into compliance and once everything is in order. So I'm going to grant the city's request to impose the fines without prejudice to, revisit this issue once everything is in order and you come into compliance. So, but I want the case back on August 19th, which is my next agenda.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry. So at this time, are we holding the fines? Okay. Our next case
Mandatory
is
with-
on page
Tasha,
18. I'm sorry.
Tasha, with a mandatory reappearance, that they'll come back
Mandatory-
on August
mandatory
19th.
reappearance.
Okay.
for
Okay,
a
thank you.
status update.
Our next case is on page 18. Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 615 Coral Way. Case number CE 2007-0005. Owner Pablo Emilio Tobon, Angela Maria Escobar Tobon. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/22/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting a full amount of $2,750, which continues to accrue.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, case number as read. This case is not in compliance. I'm gonna let the owner speak.
Hello. How are you, everyone? Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Pablo Tobon. We made an offer on this house at the beginning of the year. We closed the house on March 25th. A week before, we found out that there was a code violation by the previous owner. So in order to be able to close, we did, with the attorney involved, allow him 90 days to deal with everything. I already signed the permits on his behalf. He hired a contractor, and the 90 days are over next Friday. So I'm just asking for some extra time for him to finish. If by any chance he doesn't finish, the house is vacant, so it doesn't pose any danger to anyone. Also, it was rented for a while. We only took possession on May. So I just asked him time for the previous owner to finish his deals, or for us to just come in and start. We're doing some work on the house. So we already have, we're in the process
So
of.
you purchased the house when?
March. We closed. I have the documents here that we closed on March 25th.
Of this year?
Of this year, yes, sir. So I was not aware of these. And I have the documents to prove that we granted the previous owner 90 days for him to try to sort things out.
Okay.
The city will agree on a 35-day extension.
Okay. I'm going to grant a 91-day extension and stay the fines as of this day.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
But
Perfect, thank you.
just so you're aware, the prior owner can't obtain the permit.
No. I signed the papers. It's just that he hired a contractor. He's paying for the contractor,
gotcha,
and the case will, like, his 90 days are over next week.
Okay.
So in case they don't do anything, I'm ready to do it on our own with our contractors and everything on our side.
Just want to make sure you.
Okay. Yes, understood. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Our next case, excuse me, is on page 21. Inspector Leonardo Martinez, property address 3861 Southwest 11th Street. Case number CE 2008070. Owner TAH 2017-2, borrower LLC, in care of Tricon American Homes LLC. Your Honor, we are requesting to vacate the order imposing the fine from the 4/15/21 hearing.
Okay, this is a request to vacate an order.
Yes.
Okay. Any objection to vacating the order?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Martini, on behalf of the city. The case is complied. The city is requesting to vacate the order.
Okay, ma'am, if you'll state your name for the record.
Wendy Fable.
Okay, so I'm going to grant the request to vacate the order imposing fine on April 15th, 2021. That's it?
That was easy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next case is on page 18. Inspector Chief George Oliva, property address CE 18121198. I'm sorry, that's the case number. Property address 815 Northeast 2nd Ave. Owner BH3DJ Sub LLC. This case was first heard on 11/12/19 to comply by 12/24/19. One section complied at $100. City is requesting to reduce the fines to administrative costs of $1,275. Case will be presented on behalf of Chief George Oliva, Alexander Borges. Thank you.
Inspector Alvarez, on behalf of Chief Oliva, case and address is read. This case is compliant. City does not oppose to a reduction of fines to administrative costs of $1,275.00. Respondent is here. We'll allow respondent to speak.
All right, for the record, state your name, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Andrew Shine with Lockery and Chakas, representing the property owner. We're amenable to
All right,
administrative costs.
Administrative costs, $1,275.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 6. It's a new business case. Inspector Leonardo Martinez. Property address 880 West Sunrise Boulevard. Owner First Coast Energy LLP. Case number BE 200-80209. Notice posted at the property on 5/29/21. Posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Good morning, Your Honor. Building Inspector Leo Martinez, representing the city. Case address as read. I visited this property, which was a restaurant, on August 27 of 2020, and I observed that a car crashed into the wall located in the front of the building. I spoke to the owner tenant of the building, Mr. Philomen Philostin, and explained to her I was declaring that area of the building as unsafe, and they need to hire a contractor to repair the damage. No actions were taken in the following month. In May 25th of 2021, I visited the property because there was a report that a wooden structure was built in the back of the same building without permits. After my inspection that day, I found several irregularities, work without permit, on the electrical, mechanical, and plumbing trades, and I scheduled an inspection for the next day with the fire marshal, the mechanical and plumbing chief, and the assistant building official. The chief of different trades determined that there was work without permit after our inspection on that day. The property was cited on the FBC 2020, section 105.1, work without permit. As an additional information, I would like to add that the Department of Agriculture closed the restaurant for live vermin activity and outside food storage. Also, the fire marshal was taking them to a hearing for violations on the fire code they found at the time of their inspection. This case was opened on August 27 of 2020. The property was posted as unsafe in May 27, 2021. We are asking your owner to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 28 days to come into compliance or a fine of $100 per violation per day thereafter.
Right? Okay, on behalf of the owner.
Yes, good morning. Trent Turner, Area Manager for First Coast Energy. And we graciously would appreciate the 28 days. We actually have, I don't know if you visited, but we've removed the wooden structure, the wooden tarped structure in the back of the property. In addition to cleaning it out, it's currently not occupied. It's not obviously serving any food, and it has been completely vacated. Our goal is to determine financially if it makes sense to bring it to code, which is less likely than to demolish it. On the 16th, yesterday, we received a bid from Miami Demolition to obviously pull all the permits and get everything taken care of through their organization for demolition, but that is unfortunately not my decision to make. That would be the owner of First Coast Energy to determine financially to invest, to bring it to code, or to raise it from
All right.
where it's at.
So for the record, I find the violation does exist. 28 days to comply.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case is on page 16. Inspector Jose Saragusti, property address 6815 Northwest 28th Ave, case number BE 201-00003, owner Fred J. Harper Jr., Fred J. Harper Jr. Revocable Livable Trust. This case was first heard on 2/18/21. To comply by 4/15/21, one section not complied at $50. City is requesting the full amount of $3,100, which continues to accrue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am going to let the respondent to speak first.
Okay, yeah, I'm Fred Harper, the owner of the property for give or take 40 years. May I present a short synopsis of what I see actually happened in this situation? I was recommended to a paver by what I consider to be a reputable neighbor who's also in business. This paving work was done by a licensed company between 2/13 and 2/20/2020. Subsequent to that, in 10/1/20, I received a violation. Up until that time, as far as I knew, everything was as the contractor said, that a permit was not required for the work that I had done. I asked him specifically, and he said, no, it wasn't. In that time between the job being done and the violation on 10/1, the paving contractor sold his business in July of 2020. Subsequent to all this, I reached out to the successor company, and they were unable to do anything to help me fix the problem. I missed your Zoom thing because of technological incompetence on my part. I could see you, but you couldn't see me, and I still to this day do not know what happened there. So that brings us up today. To date, I've tried several different people to get somebody to retrofit a permit, and nobody seems to be interested at all in doing it. I can't. I look at these permit things, and my head just starts to spin. So I know I can't.
All right, well, who have you talked to?
I've called a couple. I mean, I don't have all the dates right now and the people, but I did talk to the successor to Wallace Checks and Associates, which is now known as Wallace Check Asphalt Services, and they were unable to do anything. Talked to another paver just the other day, and he said, oh yeah, he says, I have this fella who can fix it for you. So I called him and left a message. I still haven't heard back from him yet. And I'm still at the point where I feel like I'm between a rock and a hard place here. I can't fix something that I want to fix. I don't know how to fix it.
All right, well, you're,
Your Honor, if we could just have 1 minute, the inspector
Yeah,
is
sure.
taking a look at something, and then maybe I have a suggestion to help our property owner.
Oh, just as an aside, when I received the notice of today's meeting, it gave me a date and a time. It did not give me any place at all on the notice to where the meeting was to be held. I just thought that was an interesting omission.
I don't send out the notices. I'm not sure about that. Our notices are pretty standard. It generally says Commission Chambers and the address.
No address.
Well, we're glad you found us.
I'm sorry?
We're glad that you found us.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had to call numerous people to get somebody to tell me the
The
answer.
inspector's just checking on something for us, and then I may have a suggestion for you.
Rhonda, do you think we should come back to this case?
Well, I hate to keep him waiting. I
Yeah.
hope the inspector would have the information. So, Your Honor, if I can suggest, since the inspector's still investigating,
I think he's right.
yes, no? So, Your Honor, if I could suggest, the property owner can pull his own permit. He can pull an owner-builder permit, and then you wouldn't need a contractor. You can pull the permit yourself. And perhaps then after the hearing, you can speak to one of the inspectors or Chief Oliva, and they maybe can help assist you in doing it yourself. And that way you don't have to keep looking for contractors and you can get the matter concluded.
I mean, quite honestly, I have looked at this form that I got copies of, and it might be in Greek as far as I can understand. I need, I figured people that do this stuff all the time are familiar with it, but I don't, and I've never done one, and it's a layer of bureaucracy.
Okay.
On behalf of the city.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city presenting the case I read, I will request to stop the fines and an extension of 42 days to comply.
Extension of,
42 days.
all right. Okay, let's do that.
George, can someone help him maybe with an owner?
Yes, I will do it.
Let's please do that.
Okay, I'm going
Sir?
to stay the fines as of this date and grant a 42-day extension.
42 days from
Sir, if-
today.
Yeah. Sir, if you want to go see the inspector and they can maybe discuss with you how you can walk, and they can maybe make an appointment or something with you later to walk you through and see if you can get the permit on your own and get it concluded.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Good luck, sir.
Our next case is on page 8. Our next case is on page 8. Property address 225 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. Chief Inspector George Oliva. Owner L&A Beach Holdings LLC. Case number BE 2007-0098. Notice posted at the property 5/25/21. Posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
I'm sorry, you're on page 8?
Yeah, 8 at the top.
Good morning, Inspector Alvarez. On behalf of Chief Oliva, case number and address is read. The required 40 or 10-year safety inspection has not been approved. The city is asking for the owner to come into compliance by submitting the report in the next 42 days or a fine of $100 per day thereafter. I'll let the respondent speak at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Lauren Ramos, law clerk with Crush Law. We would, on behalf of L&A Beach Holdings LLC, we would appreciate the 42-day extension given by the city.
All right, 42, for the record, I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 19. Page 19, property address 413 Southwest 22nd Terrace. Inspector Leonardo Martinez. Owner Victor E. and Esther Rosario. Case number CE 200-50370. This case was first heard on 12/8/20 to comply by 2/16/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting the full amount of $6,000, which continues to accrue.
Okay. Good morning, Your Honor, Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city. The city at this time is requesting an extension and to hold the fines. They've been in contact with us, trying to, and then been in contact with city employees trying to respond to the revisions. And they all the time been informing me and contacting me, letting me know what's going on with the case. I know that they've been struggling a little bit. I am requesting hold the fines and 63 days of extension.
How many days?
63.
All right, ma'am, if you'll state your name for the record.
Hi, good morning, Your Honor. Sandra Miura. I'm representing the owners of the property, and I've been the permit runner. I've been the one involved with the permitting and corrections and everything. So
I'm going to grant a 63-day extension and stay the fines as of this date.
we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 7. It's a new business case. Property address 2641 Southwest 12th Terrace. Inspector Leonardo Martinez. Case number CE 200-61384. Owner Oscar H. Herrera. Notice posted at the property on 5/17/21. Posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Leonardo Martinez, representing the city. Case and address as read. I visited this property on July 9 of 2020, and I observed a new addition, including a room and a bathroom, being built in the back of the property without permits. The property was cited for work without permits under FBC 2017, Section 105.1. This case was opened on July 1st of 2020. The inspection report was mailed out to the property owner on July 9 of 2020. The final notice was mailed out to the property owner on August 17 of 2020. The notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 17, 2021. Only an electrical permit was applied in September 4 of 2020. The permit is in process. No other actions has been taken. We're asking your honor to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 63 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 per violation per day thereafter.
Good morning.
Good
sir.
morning,
State your
sir.
name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Oscar Herrera. I'm the owner of the property. What happened is I went to the city because they came. They say, hey, you're doing good, but you got to get a permit. I went to the city. They tell me, yeah, you can pull yourself. But I'm a busy man. I got my own business. I say, I got to pay somebody else. They put me a stop here. The guy's supposed to, I give a check for $3,500, general contractor. He took my money. He never did nothing. Now I have to hire somebody else. There's a new contract now, but it looks like he's submit the paper 2-3 days later, so I'm not supposed to be here by now. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
So it's submit already. We have this is the contract for this guy.
Oscar, that he submitted for permit doesn't mean that you don't have to be here.
Okay.
The case is only comply when the permit is issued. If you submitted the permit 3 or 4 days ago, it doesn't mean that the case is compliant. You don't have to be here. I'm requesting 63 days to give you the opportunity to go through the process in obtaining the permit. Okay? Or $50 per day thereafter, per violation.
Good. I agree. I find the violation does exist. 63 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Our next case is on page 15. Property address 3411 Southwest 16th Court. Inspector Jose Saragusti. Owner Aaron Pinton. Case number BE 200-70307. Notice posted at the property on 5/25/21. Posted at City Hall 6/3/21. This is a new business case.
I want to double check the case number, please. Tasha?
BE 200-70307.
Okay.
3411 Southwest 16th Court.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. The permit were left to expire and stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I'm sorry. The city's recommendation is
42 days to comply or $50 per day thereafter.
42 days or $50 thereafter.
All right, sir, state your name for the record, please.
Good morning. Aaron Benton, owner of the property discussed.
Anything you want to add to what this gentleman
No, the
said?
permit was turned in Friday on the 11th, and it's in review by the city now, so it should be done in the next couple of days. So,
All right, let's get this taken care of. For the record, I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 16. It's a hearing to impose fines. Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, property address 2501 Del Lago Drive, owner 2501 Del Lago LLC, case number BE 2006024. This case was first heard on 11/10/20 to comply by 12/22/20. One section not complied at $50. Fine suspended from 2/18/21 to 4/2/21. City is requesting a full amount of $6,700, which continues to accrue.
Good morning, Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city, presenting case as read. Case still not in compliance. The permit remains expired. Property owner seems to have a new tenant for this unit, and is going to request some additional time until the new tenant is able to obtain new permits so he can void the expired permit. I'm going to let the respondent speak.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm in a situation in this property where a fraudulent group put a lien on my property, and that prevented me from being able to sell it to the cleared. These people were arrested 8 weeks ago. Now I had to file bankruptcy and I had to file Chapter 11 in order to be able to save the property. I have a contract now with the judge. It's going into the 24th next week. Hopefully they're going to clear the title because I couldn't do nothing without the title. And I'm in a situation where I couldn't come up with any money to do it. I'm dealing with lawyers and I'm dealing with trying to save some of the money I put into that property. I would like an extension, have a contract for sale. There should be, the moment they clear the property, it's ready to close.
All right, and you do have a contract to sell the property?
Yeah.
When is it set to close?
Well, I'm going into the bankruptcy court on the 24th of this month. They're going to clear the property now because we have proof now that there was a fraudulent deed and everything is being cleared. This group was arrested. They did it to 7 properties in Fort Lauderdale, and that prevented me all this time from doing anything. I couldn't do nothing on a clouded title.
Okay, anything else from the city?
No, just that the information I gave was the wrong information about another case. But I wouldn't disagree giving him the extension of time he needed. How much time you need?
You gave me 90 days we talked about would be fine. I don't know how long.
91 days, it? Yeah, we'll agree to a 91-day extension and hold the fines.
Okay, all right. I'm going to stay the fines as of this date and grant a 91-day extension.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 10. Page 10, Chief George Oliva, property address 3001 East Las Olas Boulevard, owner Brooklyn 46 LLC, case number BE 200700015. Notice posted at the property on 5/25/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Alvarez, on behalf of Chief Oliva, case number and address as read. The required 40 or 10-year safety inspection has not been approved. The city is asking for the owner to come into compliance by submitting the report in the next 42 days or a fine of $100 per day thereafter. At this time, I'll let the respondent speak.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Avner Dor, I'm the property manager. As soon as we hear about the situation, we're hiring engineer company. We have done the job yesterday. So basically, it's okay. We're gonna get the final report, I believe, in the next few days.
Okay. For the record, I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 16. Inspector Jose Saragusti, property address 600 Isle of Palms Drive. Owner Steve Saver. Case number BE 200-90041. This property was cited on 9/11/20 to comply by 9/13/20. One section complied at $150. City is requesting the full amount of $1,500.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. I am going to let the respondent to speak first.
All right, sir.
Good morning.
State your name for the record, please.
Stephen Hart. I am the general contractor. I'm sorry.
All right. What would you like to add?
I received notice in person from him in person on the 12th, and I complied within 2 days, and I have photo evidence of this silt fence being installed within 48 hours, which was the allowance on the violation. So I am not really sure where the 10 days came from that the fines that are being calculated to be imposed.
Your Honor, if I could, this appears to be a citation, and there was no appeal received for the citation.
This is a citation.
Yes, it's a citation, and really it wasn't the violation for a lot of days. I've been there in the property, and for that one, let me see. The violation remains for more than 2-3 weeks, and for that one, they arrived to have this 10 days of violation. For that one, it has $1,500
Grant the city
fees, but
fines of $1,500.
city, we can recommend to the administrative cost for that one. For
Inspector, this was a citation, so he didn't appeal, and the judge just ruled to impose.
I'm sorry.
To impose the fines.
I'm sorry, but I did this already back in February for the same case, and when we were here, I had presented evidence as well, and we had at the end of it concluded that it was dismissed. I wasn't sure if that meant we were still on the hook for it, or if that meant that the case was actually dismissed.
I don't know. You're going to have to speak to someone else. Speak to the inspector about it.
Okay.
Right now, I've made my ruling. Thank you.
Okay.
Our next case is a new business case on page 1. Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, property address 3142 Northeast 9th Street. Owner 3134 Northeast 9th LLC. Case number BE 200700186. Notice posted at the property on 5/13/21. Posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Building Inspector Del Rio for the city, presenting case as read. This permit remains expired. I'm gonna let the respondent speak.
All right. Who's going to speak on behalf of the owner?
I'm Jean-Pierre De Silva, Florida Engineering Design Construction. Danny Lalwani hired me to remify the problems. Our firm will drop the new plans for the new tenant and requesting 90 days to complete the engineering and construction of the project.
What's the city's recommendation?
Are you planning to pull new permits and then void the expired
That's correct.
permit? Yes, city would agree to the 91-day extension. 91 days or $50 per day thereafter.
Okay. All right. I find the violation does exist. 91 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next case is on page 7. Inspector Leonardo Martinez, property address 5300 Powerline Road A. Case number BE 21030001. Owner Desert Powerline LLC. Notice posted at the property 5/15/21. Posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Leo Martinez, representing the city. Case and address as read. I visited this property on March 1st, 2021 with Inspector Alexander Abores. At the time of our inspection, we brought with us the latest set of drawings that were approved by the city. And after our inspection, we conclude that some changes were made to the property without obtaining first the required permits. The property was cited for work without permit under FBC 2017, Section 105.1. This case was opened on March 1st, 2020. Inspection report was mailed out to the property owner on January 8th, 2021. Final notice was mailed to the property owner on April 8th, 2021. A notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 15th of 2021. Mr. Pisi, who is the lawyer representing the company, has been in contact with us. He informed us they hired an architect that is preparing an as-built to submit to the city with the changes they made. As today, they haven't submitted any permit application, but like I said, I mean, they've been working with us and they've been keeping us on the loop of what's been going on. We're asking Your Honor to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 91 days to come into compliance and no penalty requesting at this time.
He's not asking for an alternate fine at this time.
All right.
Your Honor, good morning. Good to see you, Your Honor. Michael Pizzi, 6625 Miami Lakes Drive. I'm the attorney for the Desert family and Desert Power Line. I just want to, I want to thank Mr. Martinez and Mr. Oliva. We've been cooperating with them from the beginning, and we're trying to work with them to find out what the problem is. A slight variation. I think that we reached an agreement with the city that we would defer consideration of this matter for 90 days so we could get with the city and make sure we're doing what they've requested without the finding of a violation. So our agreement with the city, with Mr. Oliva, is we will defer consideration of this matter for 90 days so we could revisit it in 90 days. But also with the understanding that we are working on a daily basis with them.
Your Honor, the city made an agreement with them that we are going to give them 91 days because we're in the middle of discovering to figure out which one really are the part that needs to have the permit, which one match the existing floor plan. So the city doesn't want to request fines on this moment or anything. We just want 91-day extension so we can do the discovery and come back in front of you.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, again, they've been magnificent. We're just trying to figure out exactly what the issues are. So we would simply ask that rather than ask for an admission and have an order of a fine, we simply, with no finding, we'd like to remove this from the agenda and defer it with the agreement from the city for 90 days to see where we are. And what the understanding is that we're fully cooperating with them.
Okay. Cases
I'm sorry?
extended for 91 days.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, thank you very much. But I'm just to be clear, there's not going to be an order finding any guilt at this point, correct? No. Okay.
No finding of that the violation exists.
Your Honor, thank you very much. And I want to thank Mr. Oliva and Mr. Martinez. They've been among the most professional people I've dealt with, and we appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Assistant City Attorney. So just for order purposes, it's just a continuation?
It's just a continuation.
Okay.
Continuation.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to continue the hearing for 90 days.
Okay.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Our next case is on page 13. Inspector Jose Saragusti, property address 500 Southwest 11th Street, case number BE 2004-0368. Owner Rick Lentz. Notice posted at the property 52521, posted at City Hall 6321. Is there a respondent here for this case? Someone signed in, 500 Southwest 11th Street. Ladies, you remember who signed in for that? No. Jose? Okay, thanks for letting me know. Okay, Yes. Our next case is on page 17. Property address 5701 Northeast 22nd Way. Owner David Netzevich. Case number BE 200700162. Inspector Alexander Borez. Did I say the property address? 5701 Northeast 22nd Way. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/22/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting a full amount of $2,750, which continues to accrue.
Inspector Alvarez, on behalf of the city, case number and address is read. The case is not complying. The city does not support any extension at this time. I'll let the respondent speak.
Okay, speak right into the microphone, state your name.
Hi, my name is, hello, good morning. My name is Alicia Martinez. I'm here on behalf of David Nesevic as his representative. I was sworn in and I have my power of attorney as well. So I'm here because we received a notice of violation for the same case that we had already discussed and had been closed before. So when we received these, we don't understand why that happened. However, because the owner, David, still planned to make some changes to the property, he did pull a permit to ensure that the city would get access again into the property and they would see the work. However, with everything that's backlogged for all of the contractors and even the architect that drew the plans, it has just been taking a bit longer. But you can see also in the record that we do have the permit and we have been actively working on that. I understand that it's not what the violation stated, but I do have the pictures from the first case in 2019 where it was shown to multiple inspectors from the city and where they went in. I believe it was about 4 or 5 inspections that they were inside the property and they saw that there was no kitchen and no partition at that point. I do have all those records. The city does have all those records also. I don't know if you would like to see the pictures and the emails between the city officials and David.
Your Honor, if I may.
Okay, where are we?
Well, she's talking about a different matter that's not relevant to this case. This is a Massey hearing, Your Honor. It's to impose the violation's already been found to exist, and I think the inspector has some further clarification for you.
Yes, as the attorney said, the case was already heard and the violation, it was ruled that a violation exists. We're here to impose the fines. There has been a permit applied for, but has nothing to do with the violation. There's multiple scope of work without permit that has been performed at this property, and it's still not in compliance. At this time, the city does not support an extension and is requesting the full amount.
Okay, but I would like to ask, what is that scope of work? Because that is the same scope of work that was ruled before.
You
that
can
did
call
not
me,
exist.
I'll explain it to you. It was already heard, like I said, back in February, and it was discussed. I've discussed it with the owner multiple times already. I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you. Give me a call, okay?
I understand, but it's just the same violation that occurred before. It was proven that it did not exist.
We already had this conversation back at the hearing back in February, ma'am. You're welcome to give me a call and
No, I
I'll
understand.
explain.
But I just want to make it a note. The owner, we pulled the permit. Why would you pull a permit for the inspectors to come and see it again and work on it if you're hiding something? We're not hiding anything. The violation was found before, and it was told to us that we had it again based on old pictures that the city has from 2019. That is not the state of the property any longer. We have the proof, we have the messages with everyone that went to the property, that everyone saw it. At the end of the day, if this is the same case that is being brought up,
It's a different case, ma'am.
I can read
It's
you
the same
both,
violation, so
It
what it
is.
is a repeated violation, ma'am.
but it's not a violation if it doesn't exist.
Ma'am, the violation exists, photographs were provided back at the hearing, and it was ruled that a violation exists. This hearing is to impose fines.
The photos that were provided,
We would
But-
ask that you impose the fines. We're arguing about whether the violation exists.
yeah.
That ship has sailed.
You're telling me information I have not enough knowledge or not enough facts to resolve. So I'm gonna grant the city's.
could I, can I ask for maybe, I don't know, like maybe 30 days or something so that we can finalize the permit and he can go in and inspect and everything?
Man, the communication is probably gonna solve this problem. So you and he need to communicate,
Mhm.
all right? And because apparently there's multiple violations and you're talking about another violation. Nevertheless, I'm gonna grant the city's request to impose the fines and they continue to accrue. Communicate with this gentleman, let's see if we can get this straight. and
Okay.
Corrected. right?
Okay,
That's the goal.
thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case
Thank you.
is on page, oh, I'm sorry, we already heard that one. 1 second. Our next case is on page 18, property address 3250 Glendale Boulevard, owner Marvin Jones, Inspector Hector Suarez, case number CE 200-50554. This case was first heard on 12/8/20 to comply by 12621. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting the full amount of $7,050, which continues to accrue.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Suarez presenting case CE 200-50554, 3250 Glendale Boulevard. This case is not in compliance. A brief history of this case. This first case came up to Special Magistrate on December 8th, 2021 by you, Special Magistrate Purdy. Originally, I requested 49 days to comply. We went to Massey. The first time we went to Massey on April 15, 2021, where city requested from Special Magistrate Flynn to grant a 42-day extension until May 27th. And we have building permit FEN 200800064. Mr. Jones has applied for that permit. I believe, not too sure when he applied for it, but it's still not issued, Your Honor. Respondent is here to state his case.
All right, sir, state your name for the record.
I'm excuse me, I'm Marvin Jones.
All right, what would you like to add?
I would like to add, I think the whole ordeal with this case is confusing because I have two fences. One was back about a year and a half ago, but just before the weekend of Father's Day. It was a four-car accident, and they plowed into my chain link fence on the sidewalk to the fence. And it's very confusing when I submitted to get that fence repaired. I'm not sure if he's talking about that fence or he's talking about the fence that I actually put up without a permit. So it's very confusing. We back and forth, back and forth. I respect Inspector Suarez on what he's telling me. He said building. He has nothing to do with building permit. I'm very confusing because I'm going back and forth, and the documents that I have here is rejection, rejection, rejection. What am I supposed to do when I'm trying to comply with the permits? But he tells me, oh, I have nothing to do with the permit. But what am I doing wrong?
Your Honor, Mr. Jones just stated he doesn't know what fence he just put up, but he just said that he put up the fence that he put up with a permit. He just said that about a couple of statements ago. And it is the wood fence. It clearly does say that on the inspection report that was mailed out and the final notice that was mailed out to you of the erection of the wood fence. And we have Inspector Leo Martinez. He's a building inspector with the city of Fort Lauderdale. He's going to add on to the case.
Your Honor, Inspector Martinez, I just want to clarify that when an owner submit for permit to the city, he needs to submit a surveyor, and he needs to detail where is the fence that he's applying for permit, where it's located at. So it shouldn't be no confusion, no confusion at all into that detail. I mean, if the permit application was submitted into the city, he should drawing on the surveyor where is the fence located. So I don't understand what is the confusion of which fence is the correction by the planner examiner requesting. It shouldn't be no confusion. He should know, because he should draw on the surveyor what fence and where the fence is located at, and the permit application.
So typically, Your Honor, when permits go through the process and they're rejected, and then the owner or the contractor is advised for pickup, there's the reason for the rejection, right? That accompanies that rejection. Documents, or it can be a number of different things. It doesn't meet specific sections of the code. It doesn't properly delineate on the survey where the fence is. It may violate setback. I mean, when permits are rejected, they were rejected with a reason, so the applicant understands what he, she, or it knows to correct and bring it back in. Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. She's right. I have several permit documents that I did drew absolutely how it's going to be done. Also, I even put the damaged fence on that Father's Day weekend. But they was telling me, I got a message from Alexis down at the city, building permit, that I either have to take the fence down or be fined every day, the chain link fence, the one that I had the accident occurred in my property, that I either had to take the fence down or be fined $50 a day.
We're just talking about the wood fence.
No, not the wood fence.
Yeah, that's the
the chain link.
No, but the violation we're talking about today is for the wood fence.
But I already had submitted how the wood fence was gonna occur on my property. I did this 3 or 4 times. I even drew up my property, exactly where the fence is gonna be located.
Your Honor. Respectfully, Mr. Jones, you said last year you were applying for the permit on Father's Day. Father's Day falls on June. This application for this permit for building permit BLD FEN 20080064 was applied for on April of 2020, April 21st, 2020. So you said that you applied for the permit on Father's Day of last year?
No. The accident happened.
Okay.
On the Father's Day.
It couldn't be on. It couldn't be on the accident happening on Father's Day, because the first.
I have documents.
Excuse me, sir. The inspection was conducted by Manny Garcia on May 22nd of 2020. May 22nd is almost a month before Father's Day, before that car accident. I'm confused. I want to clarify that.
Well, I have.
This case was opened basically by Manny Garcia. Manny Garcia went out there as the initial inspection on May 22nd, 2020, a month before Father's Day of 2020. So I just want to clarify that.
Where are you in the permitting process for the wood fence? Because today we're only here, and the fine potentially for the magistrate to impose is for the wood fence.
Far as for the wooden fence,
Yes, sir.
to my understanding, it is completed. I did everything by the book. Everything is done by the book. I even had a contractor come and look at it.
Do you have a permit number that we can look for?
No, I haven't. I haven't got the permit number yet. They haven't gave it to me yet
I have
because it's back and forth. They're back and forth rejecting, saying I need to do shrubs. I need.
Mr. Jones, the only way that you're gonna be able to resolve this issue is to try to contact Ford, which is the zoning chief, or the plan examiner, Mike Rincos.
I have.
We don't expedite permits. We're here to follow the law, to make sure that you obtain your permit. We cannot help you obtaining that permit. Therefore, or my Rincos, if they haven't issued the permit, it's because you haven't answered the correction that they are requesting. The only way that you're gonna resolve all this problem with your fence is contacting Ford, which is the chief zoning, or my Rincos, which is the plan examiner. Okay? I would recommend you to try to contact them again. You're doing something wrong that they are not approving. That's why your permit hasn't been issued. You understand?
That's what it sounds like to me, is he's either not reading or not understanding the reasons for the rejection
Exactly.
of the permit of the wood fence.
Yes, sir.
And we got to get that done. And apparently it's there written down why the wood fence permit has been rejected. That puts the ball in your court to correct or communicate with them about why the permit was rejected and what you do to get it corrected. Okay.
Well, Your Honor, I've been trying to do whatever they tell me to do. Far as planting the 2-foot plants and 2 feet apart, I've been trying to do everything. I get back and it's still not accepted. So what am I doing wrong far as that?
I don't know, because I don't have the
Your Honor.
paperwork or know the reason for the rejection, but you've got to be communicating with the people in the permit department.
I have.
Okay, because right now this is still accruing, and
Your Honor, the city is requesting reinstatement of the fines, and we'll meet again on the next special magistrate. Hopefully, we can have this permit issued, and then we'll talk about the fines next special magistrate. The city is requesting that.
say it again.
City is requesting the reinstatement of the fines,
Okay.
and we'll revisit this in the next special magistrate. And hopefully this permit can be issued, and then we'll talk about the fines later.
Let's do that. I'm going to grant the city's request to impose the fines. This case will come back on July 15th, 2021, mandatory reappearance.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, this concludes, well, one moment.
Anybody need a quick recess?
Sure. We're going to take a 10-minute recess at this time.
Is there one more respondent? One respondent here?
Yeah.
No, the lady in the back?
Well,
Oh, you're not, okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep her waiting, but yeah.
Your Honor, you still want to take it now, or you just want to hear this gentleman? Okay, our next case is on page 20. Inspector Leonardo Martinez, property address 2607 Sugarloaf Lane, owner Daniel Tobely, Nilly Spiegel, case number BE 200-90025. This property was cited on 9/8/20 to comply by 10/8/20. One section not complied at $250. City is requesting the full amount of $62,750, which continues to accrue.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Martinez, representing the city. Case analysis as read. This case was opened September 9th of 2020. I wasn't the inspector on the case, but I was working close with the inspector that he's no longer in our division, and I got this case now. And the case was opened on September 9th of 2020. We placed on a stop work order. There were several citations because the stop work order was violated. The owner applied for permits, but the permits have a correction that hasn't been answered since May 7 of 2021. The owner just contacted me this morning and telling me that they have the correction. They've been working with the architect, and they will submit it in the next coming days. But at this time, Your Honor, the city is not supporting any extensions. I'm going to let the respondent to speak.
All right. Okay. So the city's request is the fine be imposed and continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that request is granted.
Well, no, the gentleman's here to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, didn't realize we had an appearance by the owner. I thought we were through with the respondents. Okay, sir, state your name.
Danny Tobali.
Okay. What would you like to add?
So the corrections has been submitted this morning. Actually, we have the receipt that we submitted them. The delay happened because of architects' delays. Tell me that they had COVID, engineers didn't sign, whatever, the whole 9 yards. We submitted them this morning. We're trying to do the right thing. We have early start permit, so the property is in a good condition. There is nothing else that's going on there. And I think that right after this submission, we are going to get a permit because there's 2 minor corrections that was in. That's all I got.
You've been out of compliance for 251 days. Tell me why.
So we drew plans. It took a little time. We submitted it. We had 1 row of comments. We gave it to the architects, to the engineers. We went through it, and we just can't do anything about it.
Are you a contractor?
Yeah.
And you know that you're not allowed to start work without permits?
Absolutely.
And you know that you can't work through a stop work order?
Absolutely.
And you know that that can be an arrestable offense to work through a stop, but you did all that?
It wasn't me that did it. I had a partner that I purchased the property with. As soon as we met with the inspector, I took everything under my hands, and then since then we haven't been done anything. We had this early start permit, which we've been suggested to do. So everything since the moment I took it under my hands, nothing wrong happened, and all the right things started to happen until this day. And I believe that in the next few days we are going to get a full permit.
Anything else from the city?
We're asking for imposition at this time, Your Honor. We're asking for imposition at this time.
Okay, I'm going to grant the city's request that the fines be imposed and continue to accrue. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
The fines are imposed. Once you come into compliance, then you can come back and talk about the fines.
Okay, and how much are the fines? Because we already paid fines.
$62,750.
That will continue to accrue until there's compliance.
But you've got to come into compliance first.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, that concludes all of our respondents. So we can go to our non-respondent cases, beginning on page 2. Inspector Hector Suarez, property address 1025 Northeast 18th Avenue, case number BE 21040025. Owner, Galleria Lofts Condominium Association, Inc. Notice posted at the property 5/27/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21. This is a new business case.
Good morning, Your Honor. Inspector Suarez presenting case as read. Property was inspected on 4/13/2021, and the following violation was observed. Section 28-155, parentheses A. The existing fire backflow prevention device has not been tested for the subsequent recertification as per the City of Fort Lauderdale Municipal Code of Ordinances. CCN 8B36-X5GY and CCN 2C35-J4QT. Final notice was mailed to owner listed on BCPA on April 13, 2021, as a pre-hearing inspection on June 11, 2021. Violation remains per BSI. The city is requesting 42 days or $50 per day thereafter for violation.
Okay, I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Page 3, Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address CE 200800006. I'm sorry, that's the case number. Property address 1004 Northeast 18th Street. Owner, John J. Cricket. Notice posted at the property 5/27/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read, 9-1D. Any violation of the Florida Building Code shall be a violation of this section and punishable as provided for in this section. There is construction work at this property that was started or completed without obtaining the required permits, consisting of, but not limited to, a new wood fence. I reviewed the case on 6/14/2021, at which time I verified the violation remains. The city will request 35 days to comply or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
All right, I find the violation does exist, 30 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Page 4, property address 1540 Northwest 11th Way. Case number CE 200800507. Owner, Rodolfo Gutierrez Casado, Judith Gutierrez. Notice posted at the property on 6/3/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read, 9-1D. Any violation of the Florida Building Code shall be a violation of this section and punishable as provided for in this section. There is construction work at this property that was started or completed without obtaining the required permits, consisting of, but not limited to, a new wood fence and a brick and metal fence. I reviewed the case on 6/14/2021, at which time I verified the violation remains. The city will request 42 days to comply or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
Okay, you say 42 days?
Yes.
I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Property address 1600 Southwest 32nd Street. Case number CE 201108878. Owner, Sharon Dolan. Notice posted at the property on 5/26/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, presenting case as read, 9-1D. Any violation of the Florida Building Code shall be a violation of this section and punishable as provided for in this section. There is construction work at this property that was started or completed without obtaining the required permits, consisting of, but not limited to, a new wood fence. I reviewed the case on 6/14/2021, at which time I verified the violation remains. The city will request 42 days to comply or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Property address 1800 South Ocean Drive, number 404. Case number BE 200601118. Owner, Benjamin F. Allen. Notice posted at the property on 5/27/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Martinez for the city, presenting case number and address as read. There are expired permits related to this property as stated in today's agenda, and as 6/14/2021 remain expired. The city is asking for the owner to come into compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Property address 2054 Southwest 30th Terrace, case number BE 21020008. Owner Tamir Vardy. Notice posted at the property 52621, posted at City Hall 6321.
9-1D. Any violation of the Florida Building Code shall be a violation of this section and punishable as provided for in this section. There is construction work at this property that was started or completed without obtaining the required permits, consisting of, but not limited to, there is an addition on the rear of the property and no permits on file. I reviewed the case on 6/14/2021, at which time I verified the violation remains. The city will request 91 days to comply or a fine of $50 a day thereafter.
I'm sorry, how many days to comply?
91.
91 days, okay. All right, I find the violation does exist, 91 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you.
Moving on to page 6, property address, Inspector Leonardo Martinez, property address 910 North Victoria Park Road, 201. Owner 53 Victoria Park LLC. Case number BE 21030040. Notice posted at the property 52821, posted at City Hall 6321.
Building Inspector Leo Martinez, presenting case and address as read. I visited this property on March 11, 2021, and observed a new kitchen, sink, new electrical panel, new water heater, and new bathroom. No permit history in the city for the remodeling of this property. The property was cited for work without permit on the FBC 2017, Section 105.1. This case was opened on March 11th, 2021. Inspection report was mailed to the property owner on May 18 of 2020. The final notice was mailed out to the property owner in April 19, 2021, and the notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 28, 2021. There is after the fact permit applied on June 11, 2021. Also, an electrical and plumbing permit were applied at the same time. We're asking your owner to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 56 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 per violation per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 56 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Page 7, property address 2549 Sugarloaf Lane, case number BE 201-20013. Owner Jose I. and Beatrice C. Arabis. Notice posted at the property on 5/17/21, posted at City Hall 6321.
Building Inspector Leo Martinez presenting case and address as read. There was an AC installed without permit. The property was cited for work without permit on the FBC 2017, Section 105.1. This case was opened on December 14, 2020. The final notice was mailed to the property owner on January 20th, 21. The notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 17th of 2021. There were several permits applied to remodel this property. I received a call from Pino Contractor and explained who is the contractor. That I explained to him that although they did not do the AC change out, they are responsible to obtain the required permit for the work that was done. We're asking your owner to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 28 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 per violation per day thereafter.
Right, I find the violation does exist, 28 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our next case, page 7, property address 3904 Southwest 13th Court, 1-7. Owner Flamingo 1777 LLC. Case number CE 200-81048. Notice posted at the property 5/19/21. Posted at City Hall 6321.
Inspector Leo Martinez representing the city, case and address as read. I visited this property on August 31st of 2020. While inside the property, I observed that there was a new kitchen and bathroom and a new electrical panel. The property was cited for work without permit on the FBC 2017, Section 105.1. The case was opened on August 26th of 2020. Inspection report was mailed out to the property on August 31st of 2020. The final notice was mailed out to the property owner on October 7th of 2020, and the notice of hearing was posted at the property on May 19th of 2021. Repair panel permit was applied on March 14th of 2021. Permit is still in process. No bathroom and kitchen remodeling permit has been applied. We are asking your owner to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 63 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 per violation per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist. 63 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Moving over to page 8, Chief George Oliva, property address 718 North Federal Highway, owner Lauderdale 1 LLC, case number BE 200-60037. Notice posted at the property 5/28/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Alvarez, on behalf of Chief Oliva, case number and address as read. The required 40 or 10-year safety inspection has not been approved. The city is asking for the owner to come into compliance by submitting the report in the next 42 days or a fine of $100 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Page 9 at the bottom, property address 770, property address 2323 Northwest 19th Street, case number BE 210-30055, owner 770 Holdings LLC. Notice posted at the property 5/27/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Alvarez, on behalf of Chief Oliva, case number and address is read. The required 40 or 10-year safety inspection has not been approved. The city is asking for the owner to come into compliance by submitting the report in the next 42 days or a fine of $100 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Page 10 at the top, property address 2630 East Oakland Park Boulevard, case number BE 200-70023. Owner BCR 2644 LLC. Notice posted at the property 5/26/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Alvarez, on behalf of Chief Oliva, case number and address is read. The required 40 or 10-year safety inspection has not been approved. The city is asking for the owner to come into compliance by submitting the report in the next 42 days or a fine of $100 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $100 per day thereafter.
Page 12 at the bottom, Inspector Jose Salagusti, property address 131 Southwest 31st Ave. Owner Janice Canella, case number BE 200400087. Notice posted at the property on 5/25/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city presenting the case as read, permit were left to expire as stated in the today agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply.
Page 13 at the top, property address 500 Southwest 11th Street, case number BE 200-40368. Owner Rick Lentz. Notice posted at the property 5/25/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city presenting the case as read, permit were left to expire as stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist. 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Okay, page 14 at the top, property address 900 Northwest 6th Street, case number BE 200-50146. Owner FPA2 LLC. Notice posted at the property 5/26/21, posted at City Hall 6/3/21.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city presenting the case as read, permit were left to expire as stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day.
Property address 1224 Northwest 11th Place. Owner Dennis Swaby. Case number CE 200-90639. Notice posted at the property 52621. Posted at City Hall 6321.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. Permit were left to expire as stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
Right, I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Property address 1705 Southwest 4th Court. Case number BE 200-60089. Owner Titus M. and Millie Edwards. Notice posted at the property on 52521. Posted at City Hall 6321.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. Permit were left to expire as stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
Right, I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Page 15 at the top. Property address 2201 Northeast 19th Street. Owner Full Gospel Church of Living God, Inc. Case number BE 200-60248. Notice posted at the property 52721. Posted at City Hall 6321.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. Permit were left to expire as stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I need to go back to page 14. Case number CE 200-90639. I just wanted to be clear. I think the inspector said it's an expired permit case, but it looks more like a work without permit case.
Sorry, repeat that, please.
Page 14, property address 1224 Northwest 11th Place.
Okay.
The inspector read it in as an expired permit case, but it's actually construction work without permit case.
Okay, let's correct these like that.
Sorry.
See it, Jose?
Yeah. It's no permit.
So carport, you said?
It's no 42 days to comply and $50 per day.
Well, it's not really that. It's just that you read it as an expired permit, but there is no expired permit.
It's not permit.
It's a carport enclosure without a permit. So,
Without permit. It's no permit yet for that one.
I know. I just want you to read the case in as a work without permits case.
Work
instead of an
without
expired
permit. Yes, it's work without permit. We will give him 42 days to comply or $50 per day thereafter.
Okay, thank you. And for the
Sorry.
record, that is for case number CE 200-90639.
Okay, so this request is 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did I say something else?
No, that's it. I just wanted it to be read into record correctly so we don't have to come back in.
All right, very good. Okay. Done.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Moving on to back to page 15. Property address 2340 Northwest 15th Court. Owner Alice and J.D. Bradley Jr. Case number BE 200-60249. Notice posted at the property on 52621. Posted at City Hall 6321.
Inspector Saragusti, on behalf of the city, presenting the case as read. permits were left to expire as stated in today's agenda. The city is asking the owner to come in compliance within the next 42 days or $50 or filing $50 per day thereafter.
Okay, I find the violation does exist, 42 days to comply, $50 per day thereafter.
Okay. Moving on to page 16. Property address 3051 Northeast 47th Court. Owner Wayne House Association Inc. Case number CE 1906-1129. This case was first heard on 11/12/19. To comply by 12/24/19. One section not complied. I'm sorry, Jose. Inspector Chief George Oliva. One section not complied at $100. Fines are at $36,800. City is requesting a 28-day extension.
The city's request is granted.
Thank you. Page 7. Well, I read what you are requesting, and it's been granted. Yes. Okay. Thank you. May I move on, Chief? Thank you. Page 17 at the top, Inspector Alexander Oboris. Property address 1681 Southwest 32nd Place. Case number CE 200-60621. Owner Jessica Blanco. This case was first heard on 12/8/20 to comply by 2/9/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting. The fines are at $6,350. City is requesting to impose the full amount, which continues to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Page 19 at the top, Inspector Jorge Martinez. Property address 3200 Northeast 40th Court. Owner Frank Lubinsky. Case number CE 200-60039. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/22/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting to impose the full amount of $2,750, which continues to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Property address 35 North Federal Highway. Case number CE 200-10003. Owner Pavilion Limited in care of Amera Properties Inc. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/22/21. One section not complied at $50. Fines were suspended from 5/20/21 to 6/18/21.
Your Honor, Inspector Martinez, on behalf of the city, the case came into compliance. They removed the violation, which was the fence. The city is requesting to lower the fines to $500 per administration cost.
500?
500, sir.
Okay. All right. So it's now in compliance. And fine will be imposed of $500.
Did it come into compliance today, Inspector?
I don't have the compliance date, but yeah, you can put it as today.
Okay.
That doesn't make any difference.
Well, for order purposes, it does. Thank you. Page 19, property address 209 North Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. Owner, the Seasons Condominium Association of Fort Lauderdale, Inc. Case number BE 200-40009. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/1/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting to impose the full amount of $3,800, which continues to accrue. Inspector, you okay?
Yeah, impose the fines. Fines to be imposed.
Okay.
They just apply for permit. Permit is in process. I would like the fines to be imposed.
Okay. The city's request is granted.
Thank you, sir.
Page 20, property address 1518 Southwest 25th Street. Case number CE-200-10172. Owner Rhonda L. Froali. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/1/21. One section complied at $50. City is requesting to impose the full amount of $150. Inspector, you okay?
Yeah, impose the fines. Fines to be imposed.
Page 21, property address 1518 Southwest 25th Street. Case number CE-200-10172. Owner Rhonda L. Froali. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/1/21. One section complied at $50. City is requesting to impose the full amount of $150.
That request is granted.
Property address 2200 South Andrews Avenue. Owner, Miami Yacht Divers, Inc. Case number BE 200900012. This property was cited on 9/3/20 to comply by 10/3/20. One section complied at $250. City is requesting the full amount to impose the full amount on, one moment, go ahead.
Your Honor, Inspector Martinez, representing the city. This case came into compliance. We can put as today too, Tasha, because I don't have the date, but I know that they did comply. And the city would like to, we're asking to reduce the fines to $1,275 for administration cost.
All right, so it's now in compliance, and administrative cost of $1,275 will be imposed.
Okay. At the bottom of page 20, property address 3051 Northeast 41st Street, case number CE 19091003. Owner Kevin Corrigan. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 4/1/21. One section not complied at $50. City is requesting to impose the full amount of $3,800, which continues to accrue.
The city's request is granted.
Okay. Page 21 at the top, property address 3821 Southwest 11th Street. Owner Christopher and Erlene L. Parker. Case number CE 19091458. This case was first heard on 2/18/21 to comply by 5/20/21. One section complied at $50. City is requesting for no fines to be imposed.
The city's request is granted and no fines will be imposed.
No fines. Okay. At this time, Your Honor, we would like to have all the cases that are listed on page 22 into the record as complied, closed, or withdrawn.
Right, that request is granted.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our June 17th, 2021 special magistrate hearing for building. Thank you.